Yeah.
There we go, we're live. Right, hi guys, it's Nick, and I've got with me Tom and Zaheer again. Unfortunately, Joe couldn't make it to the chat, but hopefully next time, Joe, you can join in. So yeah, hi guys, hi Tom, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. Yeah, I'm just back from the car boot sale, so after this I'll be having my afternoon nap and then get on with some listing.
Well, yeah, I haven't been out this morning, but I'm just enjoying the weekend. Been busy wrapping parcels this morning, so quite happy with that. Things starting to show a bit of movement,
Good,
so
good.
I'm pretty happy. Just keeping busy. Been a long time since we've had a little chat, but
Yeah, it's been a
you know,
while.
I'm sure everyone wants to know, Nick, how crazy on a scale of 1 to 10 are you for going straight back into retail? I'm going to put you on the spot because I have to know.
Yeah, well, I've had moments, to be honest, over the last month where, well, both me and the wife have thought, what are we doing? But it's all part of it, really. I mean, it's certainly, yeah, exciting and daunting and all of those things. The amount of work is a bit insane, and it's really going to kick off next week because all of the suppliers are turning up Monday. I've just had a load of it turn up yesterday as well, brackets and rails, and on Monday all the wood turns up and all that for fitting out the counters and the display units. So
So much preparation before you've even, it yeah, I mean, just watching it really, it's kind of like a proper documentary, like some kind of a real life close up look at the nitty gritty of
well, it's
stuff.
cool because we're going to have a record of it that we can look back on as well. So it's going to be cool. Even now, I can look back at the first couple and see the state of the floor and see the state of the place and think, okay, we are actually achieving something. It looks a lot better now.
Uh, and it's smart of you to get the old family involved there. I see. I see getting some child labour going in one of the videos as well.
Oh, always, always, yeah.
It's definitely no. Though I'm sure we don't condone, that kind of
No, it's been good. It's always a family venture, really. My brother-in-law Stuart has been doing the electrics, which has been fantastic, and my dad's been helping out. And yeah, it's fantastic that we've got that support and everybody, is trying to help us out. So it's cool.
And it just like you find that I suppose when you're doing this kind of entrepreneurial stuff, do you find that it helps to people around you obviously are going to be directly affected? I mean, you've seen the results of that with how quickly your YouTube channel has grown recently and how many people are interested and have popped up. I mean, like myself as an example, I saw your videos and I was like, wow, that's awesome. Let me try it. And now I'm knee deep into it, and it's one of those things I suppose which is nice. That I mean, have you affected like any of your family in the same way as well, or is it just strangers on the internet?
It's mainly strangers on the internet.
Fair enough.
But saying that, I went to pick up my daughter just before we kicked this off, and I saw my aunt in town, and she said that my cousins were around at her house, and they were all sat around watching my videos, which felt really strange to me. It's almost
They sit around watching you.
because they're family, and that feels odd to me. It's fine that thousands of strangers watch me, oddly, but when your family sit there watching your videos, you think, oh God, that's weird.
Yeah.
I know, Tom, didn't you say you were recognised again while you were out from YouTube?
Yeah, it happened. It's happened several times recently. A woman
bragging now, aren't you, Tom? Just bragging.
it's getting ridiculous. The classic one though is the bloke I bought this iPad from. He got back in touch with me because he said he'd watched my videos and he was glad that I decided not to resell the iPad. It's just like, yeah, it's the weirdest thing. And then I was in a charity shop. I was visiting a friend, and this woman comes over to me, grabs me. She's with the kids, and she goes, "Oh, me and my husband watch your videos." It's like,
God. Wow. It's small world, or it's just far-reaching now, isn't it?
Yeah, it's getting a bit silly.
Carrying a Sharpie so you can sign people's T-shirts and stuff.
Yeah, but she did say that that Nick on your thing when I came down to you that you were a little bit worse for wear. So I don't know where she got that idea from. So yeah. But yeah, it is quite complimentary when people spot you and that sort of thing. But then I've also I went into a shop, like a second-hand shop, and the guy had watched my videos. His name's Colin, and I wanted to buy something off him. So it was a bit of a weird dynamic. You had that with some Tomb Raider games, didn't you, Nick? That you
Yeah,
bought.
yeah. Well, that's at the boot sale, and they obviously know that anything I buy, I'm gonna resell for profit. But I just got on with it, and they were happy to sell it to me, you know, and make their bit of money. So yeah, but it was odd.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well, it's almost like you're embarrassed to be making money off them, but I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. It's a strange one. So anyway, so here, how's things been with you and your reselling enterprise?
Well, it's been very inconsistent, and I've noticed that really it doesn't even matter how many items I've had listed. It's only when I'm regularly listing I notice a lot more activity. And you know, like, not to be like a peeping Tom, no pun intended there, Tom, but I have looked
Don't
even
take
on at your shop, and I've noticed even though you've got far more items listed, because you've been focusing on your shop so much,
Yeah.
your sales have obviously, even though you've got a large amount of listings, because the turnover, it seems like you're right that eBay does, you know, it does punish you almost for not listing regularly. Because I was of the opinion that maybe I could just get a ton of stock and just list hundreds of items and then just sit back like that, you know, with the, you know, feet up. And you can't do that. You have to go every day. And this, just recently, I've made a few changes which have definitely helped me. I mean, something I'd recommend to anyone that's trying to do this is try to find a corner of the house that's yours. Previously, I was trying to use my favorite PC, which is in the living room, and there's just distraction after distraction, and I was finding either myself getting distracted and just ending up playing a video game, or like family coming in, the TV's on, the fridge is just in the kitchen next door, you know, that kind of thing. And I was finding
It's really hard to do. I mean, we've
really,
mentioned this
yeah,
before. Time management and getting rid of those distractions is the hardest thing. It sounds simple if people are watching this
yeah.
and they don't
You
do
think that's easy, yeah. I mean, the easy part in
Um,
truth is finding the stock. I think the easy part is going out there and bargain hunting. I love that. That's the easy part. The hard part is,
Tom knows about that.
yeah. I mean,
I don't know what you mean. I haven't bought anything recently.
I don't know if you guys can see, but I'm just going to show you. This is like my little box room here. I can't just show you like some mess here, but this is basically like a little box room in the house, and I've now cocooned myself away from everyone here. So, and it just means that I'm getting much more done. It means that I'm getting my listings done, I'm getting my packaging done, and it had an almost immediate effect on the amount that I'm able to get out through the door, and it makes me feel a lot better as well, because then I feel like obviously I'm achieving more. You know, it just helps massively, and I think it's something that I'm really going to be focused on now. And you know, having like a laptop to work on, which, you know, I'm not going to use for anything other than work really. Not going to be able to play games on this, because that's my Achilles heel really, is if I'm sat at the computer I end up like, I don't know, loading up some kind of game and just start playing, whereas on this now I'm just going to work, and it's definitely helped. And as I don't know if you guys have seen, but I've been focusing a lot on my footwear type thing and my auction goods, and I'm getting decent margins, decent returns on those. So, you know, hopefully now with the boot fair season kicking in as well, I'll be out tomorrow and
Well, I think,
get more done.
what you'll find, what you're probably already finding, is that you will naturally gravitate to things that you enjoy listing, or you can find more of, or whatever, and your shop will just evolve to become what it becomes. You know, I've ended up doing the sort of stock I do because that's what I was naturally drawn to. You know, we all have our little areas that we do really well in, and it just evolves that way. I think that's what happened with me, certainly.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, it's definitely like little things like processes are definitely something I'm looking into. I mean, there's a great guy, Dallas Moore. I'm sure you must have seen him.
oh yeah.
Guy, I love his channel. The guy he's genius, and it like you said just now, Nick. It's the simplest sounding things, but it is processes that make all the difference. I mean, you know, if say you've gone to the auction and you've bought yourself a sack of shoes, and you just randomly sort. Your first thing you obviously do is sort the wheat from the chaff. You get rid of all the stuff, and you got a bunch of shoes. Now, if you just go and blindly just photograph them one after the other, thinking I'm just going to machine through these, you're going to slow yourself down later. Because what's going to happen is when it comes to actually listing the items, because you've not bothered to separate the men's shoes from the women's shoes, or the men's football shoes with studs and the men's football shoes with AstroTurf studs, or the trainers or the casual shoes or the canvases, if you haven't grouped them as closely as you can, you're then missing out on using the bulk listing tool. And it's tiny little things like that that will eventually save you so much time and just make you a more productive person. Even something as simple as buying one of these, to cut your labels. If you've got like 8 or 10 parcels to do, it's much easier to cut out your parcels with one of these than it is to sit there with scissors and go through each one. And it's those things that you learn, because at first I was sitting there with my scissors and cutting through each label, and I thought this is a bit tedious. So
I resell those things.
You resell these, do you? I've kept one. This one needs a bit of WD-40. It's a bit, but
mate, they're worth good money. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean, definitely, I will look into that now.
Yeah.
It's like I said, it's small things and it's subtle, and I think you only learn them once you're really in the thick of it, and going for it. I mean, you guys have obviously gone through all this, but it's kind of, I'm guessing you guys like look back and kind of grin when I'm talking about these things, because you work through this stuff, don't you? I'm guessing so.
I still use scissors. So.
You still use scissors? I think it's a time saver if you've got if you've got enough parcels to actually go through, then
I find when I'm doing a big load of orders, I will print off a slip from eBay for each one.
Yeah.
Then I know I've got a physical thing for each order, so I can't forget it. And then I have to do them one by one anyway. If I cut all my labels in one job lot, I'd have a stack of addresses that I've then got to marry up with stuff.
Okay.
I have a very rigid system where I print everything off and do it one at a time. But I still cut my label out.
But that's the thing. It's whatever you've honed it and refined it.
Yeah.
And if it works, then that's fantastic. It just comes down to that. I mean, and also like talking of Postage as well. Recently I've just noticed InPost have come back. There were a locker posting company that I used to use, and again, just for quickness, it meant that you could just drive there in the evening without having to speak to anyone, scan your parcels, locker door opens, you shove it in, and it gets sent off. But obviously CityLink went bust, so they stopped working. They've only just come back online, but unfortunately they're charging like 5 times as much as they were or something. They're charging like £5 a parcel, whereas it used to be like £2 a parcel up to a kilo. So it's a bit of a shame in their pricing. I'm hoping that it's just a glitch thing whilst they've just reappeared. But if people are looking for a good way to send out parcels, and if you've got a locker near you and you don't like talking to people, then yeah, that's me. So, by the way, we've got 9 people watching us now, which is nice. So,
Cool.
Thanks for joining us live. And if you've got any questions, I'm sure Nick, Tom, and myself will do our utmost to answer them.
Yeah, Tom, I hear you were out this morning.
Yeah, I was. Yeah.
To find, because I think you need some more stock, don't you?
Yeah, I'm getting a bit low. I'm just gonna have to change location because my phone's dying on me. But I managed to get Crash Bandicoot for the PS1 and some games like that. I got this trunky thing, which is the Gruffalo, and I got a whole stack of mostly new and sealed. It's a guy who used to work at CEX. I think he might have been the same bloke who we dealt with, and it's some Wii controllers and some PS3 controllers. So they were, the Wii controllers were £3.50 and the PS3 ones were £5.
Oh, where's Tom?
He's just joined us back. I think he's moving.
You and see, so they're almost likely.
I think
several car.
he's got a bit Dalek.
Mate.
So
Oh, it's because he's moving his iPad, so his wireless is going a bit haywire, I think. Hello, Tom? Oh, there.
You
Are
there?
you settled?
Uh,
Yeah, that's better.
you got me?
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're
Yeah, it was
back.
the Wi-Fi. Sorry, it's
Yeah.
I've had to put it on charge.
Ah, right. Okay.
It's my
Fair.
first test of using the iPad for this. So
Oh, it's working pretty well.
yeah. Yeah. Cool.
Right. Are you sorted, Tom?
Yeah, I'm sorted. Can you? Is it all working okay now?
Yeah. I can see you and hear you.
Yeah,
Cool stuff.
it's working.
Yeah, I've been going wild lately. It's been one of those weeks where there's been like the bank holiday. I went on the Monday, the Sunday. I went I went Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then I went to an antiques fair Thursday, Friday. Then I went to the car boot Saturday, Sunday. So yeah.
Are you getting time to list anything though, or are you just stop
Just
buying?
buying and buying.
Yeah. What you can't see is the huge piles.
That's what you always say.
of crap everywhere. So yeah. No, I've been made to tidy up. I've been forced into like you were saying earlier. There's a box room, so I'm all set up in there.
Yeah.
I've got all the stuff laid out, so it just makes more sense. And I've invested in some decent quality clear plastic sort of boxes with lids, and all my stock stored in there, all nicely stacked. And then any clothes and things like that, I've been vacuum sealing them as well. Stuff like jumpers and stuff like that, which I'm unlikely to sell, but still is in my inventory. I've vacuum sealed them, and then they take up less room.
So how is Lorna taking all of this stock coming in?
Not good. Not good.
Was there an agreement to stop sourcing until you list some more, or?
Yeah, there is now.
There is now. You're under contract.
Pain of death, I'm not allowed to buy anymore, but I am going the car boot tomorrow, though. So.
What are you going there for, Tom? I was just wondering.
I'm going to go and get a bacon sandwich. That's all I'm doing. I'm going to drive there, get a bacon sandwich, not look at anything,
and then
come
come back.
home.
Right, okay. I look forward to seeing that video, the bacon sandwich video.
Yeah. But I've joined the Nick Hills Trolley Club now as well. I've got my own deluxe super four-wheeled off-road trolley. But unfortunately, I've overloaded it and I've already broke the welds on it, so I need to do a bit of repair work.
Oh man, you must have got a cheap one.
Yeah. So.
Need to take it back to the dealer and get it up spec'd, but
it's a real game changer because it's got four wheels. It's nice and stable. You can hang things off the side. I get the weirdest looks, but I don't care because it's brilliant.
It's working out.
I've been saying for ages that it was a game changer for me, and until you use one, you can't understand why. But it's just makes it so much easier. I mean, you do look like a bit of an idiot with it, but I couldn't care less what people think of me. You know, I don't. Yeah. Doesn't bother me, but yeah, it makes my life. And because, as Tom, you know, I suffer with tendonitis really badly in my arms. I literally can't carry bags for long periods of time anymore, and that's why I started using it. But it just made my life so much easier.
I'm still in the old IKEA bag stage. You know,
yeah.
Large IKEA bags. Those first sport bags as well. You know, those giant ones that they make you buy when you buy a pair of trainers or something. I'm still walking around with those. Another tool recently that I've started using, just random tools that you end up using for your reselling, I've noticed, is a Karcher, steam washer thing. So recently, the missus got one of those for around the house, and just to use around. It's pretty cool, and I find it's amazing on trainers, and footwear in general. So I'm getting trainers which are looking pretty rough, especially like football boots when they've just been left in mud and they're caked in it, or things like just the trainers where the treads around them are dirty, and a good spray with the steam cleaner on it, and they come out looking fantastic. They wipe up so good, and you can clean the soles up really well. And when I've noticed with footwear, to get the best prices, obviously the presentation is imperative. It's really important because when people can actually see the tread or how much it's been used or not, you know, it just makes it look more appealing and people are more likely to buy it. Because because I'm finding that even if the shoe itself has got some flaws on it on the top, as long as the tread is clean and they can see that there's still a lot of life left in it, you're still going to get your asking price, and it's definitely something that I've worked out. And now I'm in the garden with the cart, just spraying the crap out of bags of shoes before putting them on, and I'm enjoying that. It's
you're absolutely right. And your pictures, that video you did where you showed your pictures, that they really do the job. And you can't take enough pictures. If you put yourself in the buyer's shoes, if you like, no pun intended. If you can take 10 pictures, that'd still help, and it saves you describing everything in great detail. You know, you can show the tread. You don't have to describe it in great detail. You can show everything.
I mean, I'll look to make a video about my photo setup, but I mean, it's one of those things that I'm at the moment, especially because I'm in, you know, still growing. I've always got like the dilemma on. I'm a bit of a gadget type of person. Now, as guys, especially, I think this affects guys probably more than the ladies out there because ladies are more sensible. As guys, you tend to want to, you know, you get that thing where, oh, I need this to be able to do this, and then you go out and just get all the kit before you need it. That's something you've got to try to avoid, definitely. And I've fallen foul to it, but some things are definitely worth investing in, and you just have to kind of sort out what's worth investing in. So, for example, if you were to say to yourself, "Oh yeah, you know what? I need a £5,000 Mac Pro or something to be able to run my eBay business, or I need a 30-inch screen, 5K to run my eBay business," you're probably just using that as an excuse to buy one of those items. But something like a lighting setup, which I think they're so reasonable, and it means that you can use the worst camera if you want. I mean, my camera is an old Nikon digital SLR, but it's really old, and by old I mean I think it's like it's got 6 million pixels. That it's a 6 million pixel camera. So all the photos that you see on my store are taken on a 6 million pixel camera. So it's ancient. But because my lighting setup is decent, it really doesn't matter what the megapixels of the sensor and the camera are.
I use this. This is an thing. It's like a Fuji, just a very basic one. But I also use my iPhone as well.
Yeah, I use my phone as well.
See, and that should show to anyone out there that's thinking, oh, am I not getting sales because of this, that, or the other? Is it because of my photos? It's not necessarily about your camera. It's about what you're able to achieve with your camera, and it's basic things like just knowing how important lighting is. Just using your iPhone in the daytime is going to get you better results than using it in the evening. You know, for example, it's little things like that at first you might not be aware of. But
natural light, if you can find something with natural light,
it's the best.
You cannot get better than natural light.
Definitely, it's one of those things, and like you said, it does help. I mean, I was even thinking of trying to get like a lazy Susan, so I can just spin, you know, another gadget. But it would be quite nice just to spin the shoes around. Yeah, it's just makes it a bit easier rather than having to turn the item around.
I still don't have anywhere set up for photography in here. It's just an absolute mess, and because we're now sorting out all the clothing stock, there's just not a space left.
Yeah.
And it's funny, going back to Tom, when you were saying you've been buying like a man possessed. I've just gone the other way. I've been to one boot sale in about 2 months now, because that's
it's obviously your fault. It's your fault then. I'm buying your share.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. I mean, I'm actually thinking about going out tomorrow just because I miss it and I really want to get out there and do it. But yeah, I'm having to, because I've got so little time that I can give to my reselling business because I'm just spending all the time shop fitting. I'm having to be like a part-time reseller, and I'm just picking expensive things and listing those, so I don't have time to do it. So like I listed a £100 guitar yesterday and a job lot of Lego that sold instantly for 90 quid, and that's just keeping me ticking along, so I don't have time to do the fiddly little stuff that I used to do. So my business model has changed completely right now.
Yeah, you should definitely go out tomorrow and then just put it in the loft, and you can sort that out near Christmas.
Yeah, it can join all the other stuff that's still in the loft.
Yeah, God, the poor rafters of your house. I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Oh dear.
So, Tom, how's it going with your booth and that? Are you still
Yeah, it's
putting a lot
going
of
well
stuff in
actually.
there?
Yeah, it's cleared a profit for the first 3 months. I mean, it's not mega money. It's not like game changing money, but it's good for clearing out stuff which is fragile or difficult to post, and it's just another outlet because, say for example, I got kicked off eBay. I've got other options. I'm not reliant just on the one stream of income. It's Amazon, eBay. I've tried Etsy, but I never sell anything on there. And then I've got these two booths and another antiques cabinet, and it's sort of it's more a risk because you've got more of a monthly outlay. I mean, it's nowhere near what you're going to be paying, Nick. It's not. It's nothing like that. But it's something you've still got to bear in mind when you're buying stuff. So the profit margins are smaller. You might buy something for £2 and sell it for £5 or £4, but then there's no fees coming off that or anything like that. So yeah, it's going well actually.
Yeah. Well, also there's no extra work involved. What I love about retail, and I'm looking forward to in a way, that the side of retail which is you buy some stock in and it's literally available for somebody to buy instantly. There's no photography, there's no listing, there's no packaging, so you get that instant turnover. So with your booths, you've got that, and also it's remote. You don't have to be there anyway, do you?
Yeah, exactly. It's like a force multiplier. It multiplies myself, so it's almost like I've got employees without having the paperwork and all that surrounding it. So if you can get your items in different places, I'm getting more free time because of it. More free time to go out and buy some more stuff.
Buy more stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I think what you guys said there is really important in terms of multiple streams of income. I think it helps to always be pushing yourself to look for different streams of income, especially with what we're doing, because if you just rely on eBay, like you said, if you were to get kicked off, and people have discussed this before, that what would you do? And you see, I've seen a lot of other entrepreneurs on YouTube, etc., and they all subscribe to the same theory that you've got to have as many different streams of income, and like you guys are aiming for now, like you're trying to go for the more passive income. So you do the legwork up front. You do the footwork and the effort up front. Once you're set up, hopefully you'll then find a stream of income that's going to come in without having to require your 100% attention at all times. So I mean, it's definitely something that I'll be looking into in the future once I've actually gotten one thing right, and then I can move on and trying to do to do something like that. But it's definitely worth definitely a smart way to think, I think. And if you guys have got any kind of more ideas on what you guys would call decent passive income, like any other streams of it, that's always good to hear as well.
Well, what I was going to say on a similar note is that what you realise after a while is the most important thing you have is your time. And I think what Tom was getting at is that you have to find ways of using your time effectively, and that's the benefit of having different streams or passive income, is that you don't have to dedicate more time to that, so you can use your time to be spent doing what you're good at, which is buying stock, apparently, Tom.
Well, that's true, and it's also that I mean, God forbid if you don't want this to happen, but if, for example, yourself or someone you know was ill or a life-changing event happened, I could turn off eBay and I could let my antiques booth and Amazon just stuff sell away, and I don't have to do anything, and it's still earning me money because obviously there's no sick pay in what we do or anything like that. So it's more of a backup plan. It's sort of preparing yourself for what if as well, I think.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, some people are also looking at, you can obviously look at your YouTube channel as a source of passive income. Some people are getting into Kindle publishing now as well. That's something that's quite interesting. I mean, in case anyone out there is interested, you don't actually have to write books. You can hire virtual assistants online to do that. I mean, there's a lot of legwork because you have to obviously know who you're working with, but the people out there that are very successful doing things like Kindle publishing, which brings them in a steady stream of income, because once your book's up for sale or up available on the Amazon marketplace, that's it. You let it go, and you can slowly build your library of books, and there's another possible source of income that people can look at. So the opportunities are out there, but you guys obviously have to keep an eye out and choose what's best for you.
It's funny because several people through YouTube have said to me, "Am I going to write a book?" And I've always said no, but it's funny you mentioned that, because I looked at doing these almost like virtual books, if you like.
Yeah.
And I was considering doing one about basically a long list of bolos, a long list of things that anybody can find easily and cheaply and turn over on eBay. And it would be quick and easy to do. And with all my YouTube followers and Facebook and that, it would be easy to find a market, and it would be genuinely helpful. And it's like that bolo I did the other day about the links cans.
Yeah.
It's just random knowledge. But some people out there now will find an old links can with half full and sell it for 60, 70 quid. So it's money that you can make on the back of just this information. Information is key. And
exactly.
I
mean, I've been looking into the exact same thing, thinking of niches where you could help. They're kind of like little ebook guides, aren't they? So you could make an ebook on, if you've been going to the boot fair for 20+ years, like I have, or like you guys have, you could comfortably write, like a preparation guide on what to do even before you've gone to a boot fair, let alone actually at the boot fair, because there's plenty of things that people don't think about, i.e. what footwear they're going to be wearing, and that even in summer, 6 a.m. still pretty cold. Take a torch with you during the wee hours, things like that. I mean, and people will find that kind of information genuinely useful, and like you said, like a list of bolos, or what to look for. You can go into anything. I mean, I know there's people out there that have written ebooks on Guitar Hero. There's a guy called College Picker, and he's written an ebook literally about Guitar Hero, nothing else, just Guitar Hero, like the encyclopedia of Guitar Hero. And it just shows you that if you've got the wherewithal to do that, promote the book, and put it out there, you've got potentially a source of income. And just because we're sharing this doesn't mean that, if one person does it, that's the market gone. Like any good market, it's about competition. So you don't want to be necessarily putting out an ebook where yours is the only ebook, because the chances are, if yours is the only ebook on a topic, it means that topic is probably not very popular and people won't want to use it. So there's it's
the thing is, I mean, we've had these sort of conversations before, and Tom and I have chatted about this. I don't really want to necessarily make money out of people that I'm trying to help. But then again, if what I am doing is helping people and they're happy to fund it in some way, then it's kind of win-win. And I mean, I make a little bit off my YouTube channel, as you guys. Yeah. Nobody begrudges watching an advert or two in a video. And likewise, if I can't see me getting the time to do an ebook, to be perfectly honest, but I love the idea. But
you can pay someone to do it. You can pay someone to do it, virtual assistant.
But I've still got to sit there and tell them all the information. So it's like,
send them an email. Just guess what you do. Just put my name at the bottom. It'll sell.
Yeah, just say watch my videos and make me a book.
Watch my video. No, but I mean, I completely see what you're saying there. But also things like with Amazon, you're talking about like the moral aspect of it, that you don't necessarily want to be making money of trying to help people. But a lot of people on Kindle are on that plan where you can just borrow books. So a lot of people just borrow and borrow and borrow. They will just consume book after book because it's free, because they pay their one-off fee of whatever it is a month. I don't know, is it a tenner? Is it just around that a month? And you've got unlimited access to all of the Kindle library. So people are going to have access to your ebook, be able to download it. If they like it, then great. You've got a nice, you've got a potential, reader there. If they don't like it, I'm sure they'd let you know through reviews or whatever. But it's not necessarily I don't see it like that. And to be honest with you, it's good knowledge and it's going to help people, and it's better than reading 50 Shades of Grey, I'd say. Not that I've read it, but
Yeah.
No, it's not my cup of tea.
Well, another thing worth mentioning, and it's sort of a shout out to you, Nick, is when I got my trolley, I actually went on your website and checked out the resources section. And obviously the trolleys have been quite popular because the link you've put on there, they've actually sold out on Amazon.
Have they?
Trolley. So unfortunately, I couldn't give you any money for that, so I had to go elsewhere. But some of the links you've got on there were things that I didn't even think about. So those sort of things are useful, and as a thank you for putting those on there, it's a small kickback for you. So
yeah. Well, if people don't understand what Tom's mentioning, I did a website so I could put all of my YouTube videos on there and make it easier for people to browse those. But I've also done a page where you can click through links to get the same envelopes that I use. You can get the packing paper and various postal supplies, plus mega trolleys, but apparently they're sold out, Tom reckons. But what happens is, because I'm an affiliate with Amazon now, if you guys go onto my website and click through to the products that I'm recommending, I get like a few pence kickback from Amazon. So it doesn't cost you, the customer, any more to buy the item, but it just means I get a small commission. So if people do want to help me out, they can go onto my website and buy envelopes through my links, and I get like 30p or whatever it is. So yeah, that works really well actually.
So
did you manage to set that up?
No, I haven't got it set up yet, because there was some. I'm going to be doing a little website with more equipment and stuff for the jewelry side of things like scales that I bought and the loop and that sort of stuff, which are available on Amazon. So that is coming soon, but I'm just struggling with building the website because the one you use, Nick, is Weebly or something that it wasn't working well with the Mac for some reason. So I'll get on that, and when I do, I'll send you a link and put it in the description of my videos. But yeah, that will be coming soon, definitely.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Right, what are we going to talk about, guys? Oh, Tom, you said that you were having grief with. Is it Amazon you had grief with?
Oh no, it was bloody eBay. Okay, so in the last week, I've had 3 customers start a return with the item as defective. One was a pair of shoes, and the other 2 were. One was like a new and sealed. It was like a handheld game thing that I got from the clearance section in Asda. And the other was a toothbrush, which I got from the car boot. It was all new and sealed in the blister pack. And they've just said it's defective. So it's really annoying because I got 3 dings on my account, and these shoes were brand new, and the sides of it have sort of blown out. It's dead weird. It's almost like a car tyre that's blown out. I mean, they were brand new, but I haven't got a receipt to take them back to where I got them from. So it's kind of, I've got nothing to fight against it because it's not me that's caused the problem. It's a manufacturer, the quality of the manufacture of the item, and there's no way of knowing that. So it's really frustrating that I've had to refund them, and I've had 3 dings on my account because of that, and I've lost my 15% top-rated seller discount or whatever it is.
Oh no, that's a shame.
That is terrible. I mean, that's the thing with the eBay. It is always going to be weighted towards the buyer, and I think in a way your kind of nonchalant attitude to it there, that you're kind of dismayed, but you have to learn to accept these things, don't you? I mean, guys, just to butt in, I've actually only realised that I hadn't been refreshing the page, and we've got a few questions here because we've got 11 people watching us now. We've got 7 thumbs up, which is nice as well. And we've got someone called Sheztastic who's just posted up a message asking, you know, we don't have to go into it, but at what point do you transition into paying taxes, and how have you developed a system for bookkeeping and stuff like that? At the moment he's just struggling to get his head around it. I mean, if I just go into it, I'd just say follow the rules of the country that you're reselling in. You know, thanks to the Tory government, I think you can earn about 11 or 12 grand now before you have to pay any tax. But as soon as you've started a business account on eBay, by law you should only be you can sell your own stuff that you don't want anymore on eBay without paying any tax. But as soon as you buy something with the express interest to resell it, you have to declare it. So that doesn't mean you're actually going to be paying any tax. If you're only selling a few items a month over the year and you've maybe made a couple of grand out of it, you won't have to pay any tax, but you do have to declare it because you've bought those items to resell. So you are in business. So I mean, that's the answer to that, really. So you know, if you guys want to add any more to that in terms of how do you do your bookkeeping or anything, that would be great. It might help out. Fantastic.
I get a lot of people asking me, you know, I'm scared about tax, and what records do I have to keep, and do I need this spreadsheet and that spreadsheet? And you can, but I mean, you only really need spreadsheets to make your life easier. All the taxman will want to know when you fill in your tax return, essentially, is what your total was that you had coming in and what your total business expenses are. So you need to just keep a track of everything you spend trying to earn that money. So the cost of the stock, the cost of anything you can claim that you've used in your business, your internet connection, the petrol to get to your boot sales. Keep all of that. So you get a total of everything that you've spent to earn the money and the total of everything that's come in. Essentially, you just need those two numbers to do your tax return. It's slightly more complicated than that, but that's essentially it. It's nothing to be scared of. And like you said, we all get a personal tax allowance of over £10,000. So, you know, if you're paying tax, then you're doing quite well. So don't worry about it, you know. I mean, tax isn't a big, scary thing. I mean, I can say that because I've been doing a tax return for the last 14 odd years, but it's really not that complicated.
And some
How about yourself, Tom? Do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I've been self-employed for 5 years now, and at first I was, you know, really bricking it doing my first tax return. But actually, you can do it online. It's in the UK. It's not a big deal. And then for me, the main thing transitioning into buying stuff at car boot sales was cataloguing how much I've spent, because obviously you're not going to ask a receipt for someone at the car boot sale for 50p. So what my tip is, get a A4 desk diary, and every time you've been to the car boot sale, write down what you've bought, how much you paid for it, and then you can, and also then you can see how much you're spending in a week, which, truth be told, this week I haven't looked at because I didn't want to, but if you want to, you can go back and look at analytics of, okay, this month, how much have I spent on shoes, or how much, you know, and you've got that data, and then you've also got the proof of purchasing the items, because that's always a problem with paying in cash for items.
Yeah, that's a big grey area, and I get a lot of people asking about that. How do I claim back my expenses at car boot sales because I don't have any receipts? And years ago, I went and asked the tax office about this, and they were just like, I can't really help you. Any expense needs a proper receipt. And I said, well, I'm not going to get a receipt for a 50p toy at a car boot sale, am I? You know, and they were like, can't help you, sort of thing. So I said, well, how do I proceed? And they didn't really have any answer, to be honest. So all I end up doing is, when I come back from a boot sale and I unload everything, I will just there and then go through and just on an A4 sheet, write down everything I have spent, and then that sheet will be that receipt for that boot sale, if you like, and that will go with all my other paper receipts, and will be logged that way. And that's all I've done for years and years. So.
A lot of people might not know this, but eBay themselves are very helpful. If you go into the selling manager or your seller manager, there is a section in there somewhere. You'll have to dig it out, but they will actually have all of your sales and minus the eBay fees and PayPal fees all works out for you, and you can print those out, and it's all done on, you can have it on a monthly basis. So that way, if you're exclusively selling on eBay, or you just need to sort out what you've made and sold on eBay, you can do that there. So the information is stored, thankfully. So even if you're not organized, the main thing is, like Nick and Tom said, write down what you've paid for the items, and then you could just download those sheets from eBay which tell you exactly what you've sold and what eBay took, what PayPal took. The only other thing I would suggest is obviously keep an eye on your postage costs, because obviously they can vary depending on the size and item. Maybe keep that in a nice separate pile as well, so you can do that. But you guys have covered it really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing I would say about that eBay section is they only keep it, I think it's for something like 9 months or a year, or they keep it for a more limited time. So the way the sort of weirdness of April to April tax return system does, that sometimes it can cut off a couple of months. So what I do is at the end of the month I'll print that off. So I've got a copy, because they disappear after a set amount of time, so it's always worth printing them off.
Just a few more comments to go through. Just to let you guys know, we've actually got 13 people watching now and 11 thumbs up, which is nice. We've got Gamer Century saying good video, great information. Just a Hobby is saying hello all the way from New Zealand, which is pretty cool. And Idris Zaman says, hey guys. One other question we've got so far is Thurgood 1998 asked about half an hour ago, so it's a bit late, but it's still a good question. What are your different storage methods for items? That's a good question, isn't it? I think we should start with Tom for that.
Incoming stock, it's called the pile of shame, or piles of shame.
Piles.
Actually, that sounds a bit wrong.
Piles of shame.
I think you eat that from a dodgy nightclub or something. But and then when I've listed it, what I'll do is I'll put it in a clear plastic lidded container, and each container has got like 1A on the side, and then just in the description box of the listing I'll put 1A. It can be way far down, tiny text. No one will ever see it or mind. And that's for the big and bulky stuff. And the little stuff in my office space, I've got racking behind. And most of that I just put loose in boxes there, and it takes a bit, 2-3 minutes to find, but that's all I do really. Good strong racking. I'd invest in, if you're going to go for it, I'd invest in decent metal racking. Don't buy, cheap plastic shelves. They'll just end up falling over. Or the IKEA shelves, they look strong in the shop, but actually you've got to fix them to the wall, so you get decent storage.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, mine, as everybody knows, I sit here with it around me. I've converted my garage into interior space, and then I've got all these metal Dexian racks. The system is in absolute chaos at the moment because stuff's coming in and out with the clothing, and it's chaos. But basically, this rack is where I dump stuff as it comes in, and behind the door is a massive pile of stuff as it comes in, and then as it gets listed, it's all wrapped out on the further ones, and then in the spare room upstairs, which is where Tom stayed when he came down, so he could tell you, there's more steel racks with all stock ordered on there that's all listed. So it's kind of organised chaos, and that's how I do it.
Yeah, I mean, mine's very basic. Literally, in the spare room, I've got like a clothes rail, and I have lots of totes and bags. So very simple stuff. I'm not at the stage where I've got any specific like racking, but at some point I can see myself getting into that. It is an important thing though when you think about it. I mean, apart from just the fact of what you guys are doing for storage, if you think about it, storage is one of the most important things, because when you've got a clutter everywhere, you don't know where to start, you don't know what to look for, and the worst thing is if you've sold that Doctor Doom action figure that's about 5 inches tall and he's in a tote full of other stuff and junk, and you just cannot find him, because it's taken him 5 months to sell. It's the kind of thing you want to avoid. It really is.
Well, I've wasted many, many hours trying to find a bloody item that's, like you said, been sat on there for 6 months. Like, oh, that so-and-so.
Finally sold, and then you're like, where is it?
Yeah, and Andrew will be like, okay, so where's that then? I'll be like, oh, it'll be on a shelf somewhere. It's like, I don't know. So we have tried to get a more rigid system, but yeah, it has its flaws. But you're right, it's having an organised workspace. I mean, right now I can't really talk about that, but having an organised workspace helps your mind. It helps you to focus. It helps you to be more regimented in what you're doing. But that is a constant battle, because, well, as Tom knows, we can't help but buy loads and loads of stuff, and it's like it's a constant battle just to organise your stuff. It really, really is.
It's another perfect example, I think, of things that on the outside seem extremely simple, but unless you do it, unless you're regimented and disciplined, you will struggle with it. It's such a simple thing. Oh, where do I put my stuff that I've bought? That's literally what we're talking about. But it's so much more than that, because it will affect your productivity massively. It will. It kind of leads back to, for example, how you organize and order your stock. If you've got a lot of similar items, can affect how you list your items. And once you've listed them, I mean, ideally, I'd love to get to this stage where once I've listed a batch of items, that I could package them all up with labels ready to go. That's ideally where I would be aiming to go for, so that everything's ready, boxed, labeled with what's inside the box. It sells, I take the box. Whereas at the moment now, if you have a busy weekend, you're spending half the morning covered in brown tape and cardboard. It's not pretty.
The slight flaw for me in that one would be I sell a lot of multiple items to the same people. It's like with all the Lego stuff I do, people don't tend to come in and just buy one. They'll buy a few roof tiles, a couple of figures, and this and that. So if I had them all pre-packaged, that would mess my system up. But yeah, that wouldn't work for me at all, pre-packaging anything.
Well, if guys have got any more questions, that would be awesome. We're actually up to 19 people watching now. We've got 16 thumbs up, so people are enjoying the content, which is fantastic. So, if anyone's got any more questions, put them in the comments. I will look at them and try, if you want, obviously, guys, not being presumptuous, but that would be cool. In the meantime, I just want to talk about board games again.
Yeah,
yeah, I found this. I was really chuffed with this. It's just a Monopoly, and it's just the Chelsea version, which is quite cool. But this is actually the double winners limited edition, and it even came with a certificate of authenticity. The reason why I'm mentioning this really is I picked it up from the Boot Fair for a couple of quid last week. And it's just sold for £15. But people often talk about the difference between things like, especially when it comes to media and board games, they tend to think that you get better prices on Amazon than eBay. And I'm just bringing that board game up for the simple reason that I think that in used condition, which is what that was, I had a look on Amazon, and Chelsea themselves are selling on Amazon, and I think they were selling it for like 25 or 30 quid, something along those lines. And the only used copies there were £15. And Amazon's fees, especially as I'm merchant fulfilled at the moment, I'm not doing fulfilled by Amazon, it made more sense for me to put it on eBay and got rid of it there. So it's just to kind of mention that you have to really take items on a base, on an individual basis sometimes, because I've seen a lot of videos where people love to extol the virtues of Amazon and Amazon FBA, and maybe if I was doing fulfilled by Amazon, I could command a better price. And Tom, you probably have an input on that, but certainly in that situation there, it was 15 quid on eBay, 15 quid on Amazon merchant fulfilled, and Amazon were taking a bigger cut than I was on eBay. So, would you say that it's only on FBA that you can benefit from the higher prices, or?
Yes and no. I mean, the problem with FBA is you've got to factor you posting the items to the warehouse and then the storage fees. So actually, long term, you're getting close to merchant fulfilled on some things anyway. The way that FBA is better is sort of high competition markets, so things like media and CDs. I can ask a couple of pounds more because Amazon can dispatch it and be at that person's house the next day. People will pay a couple of pounds more for that benefit. So it's on those busy, high competition categories where FBA is better, and also on sort of niche stuff which can be sent. I mean, I just sold a book about the history of Russian invasion of the Ukraine, and it's going to the Ukraine. So stuff like that you would never sell on eBay because no one would buy it. So it has the benefits there, but this is what I'm saying in a lot of my videos. I'm not sure whether I'm going to sell it on Amazon, or I'm not sure whether I'm going to sell it on eBay, because you've got to look at the pros and cons of because the fees are quite a bit more. So 9 times out of 10 these days, I am putting it on eBay rather than Amazon. But the more niche market stuff and high competition stuff, I'm putting on Amazon.
Yeah, my take on that is I did a video about a month ago actually where I came back from a boot sale and I had 2 or 3 stacks of media stuff, and I explained what I do generally is with media. I'll come home and I will check it all on eBay and then scan it all into Amazon and straight away list the Amazon stuff because it's super quick. I've got a barcode scanner, so I can just scan it, and if it's going for more on Amazon, they'll go straight on. But percentage-wise, it's probably about 5% of stuff. I mean, with my CDs that I've cleared nearly all of now, I had about 1,500 I put on eBay and about 100 on Amazon. So that's the sort of percentages I work on. And it's the same with board games and bits and bobs. Every 10 I put on eBay, I might put 1 or 2 on Amazon. It does work for some things, but I just do it on a per item basis. I will check it on eBay, scan it into Amazon, and then just put it where I think I can get the most for it.
Oh,
yeah.
Emma's just commented saying, "I never catch these things live. Better late than never. Can you start from the beginning, please?" She was joking.
Yeah, okay, let's start again.
Let's start from the beginning. Got a couple of good questions from user Get Down the Gym. I don't know if that's aimed at me, but I should. Someone's called Get Down the Gym. The user. Yeah. Wanting to know our experience with auctions outside of eBay, like police auctions, etc. Is it worth going to? My answer to that would be things are a lot easier nowadays. You don't have to go anywhere. You can now bid on auctions from the comfort of your home, and so to be honest with you, auctions I think are fantastic. I really like them. I'm enjoying buying items from auction. It allows you to build up your inventory with high margin items. The kind of items you'll buy in bulk at auction will be generally of a higher condition and standard than you're going to find in the booth fair. You'll be able to sell them for higher value. I mean, it's not often that you're going to find a pair of shoes at boot fair for £2 to sell for 40. It's just not often. You'll regularly find shoes that you can buy for 2 and sell for 15 at the boot fair all day long, definitely. But the £30–40 shoes I've found more regularly turning up when I'm buying job lots at auction. And like I said, nowadays a lot of auction houses offer online bidding and even delivery. So if you've bought enough, they'll give you a quote, and if the quote's good, get it delivered. I recommend you guys try out ibidder.com. That's the company that most of the auction houses go through, and what they will do is iBidder has all the auction houses go through them, so you'll see a list of auctions that are happening around the country, and you can pick and choose. Some of the auctions do deliver, some don't, so obviously check that out before you bid on any items. But I mean, I use Weller's Auctions, who are based in Milton Keynes, and you know, it's something that I will definitely recommend. So you know, Nick, I know you've been to auctions in the past, not recently, but I mean,
yeah, I still haven't got back into that, but I used to a fair bit. Auctions vary so much. I mean, I used to go to one that was based in Hitchin, which was mainly antiques, and we did really well out of that place. The beauty that I would say about auctions is you have time. You have time to think about stuff. We used to go to the viewing and go around everything and just take pictures on our phone or write all the details down. So we'd go to the viewing as early as we could. Then we'd go home, sit in front of the computer for an hour, and find out in reality what these things are worth online. And then we'd just make a note, say, okay, I can sell this vase on eBay for 50 quid, so I'm going to bid up to 20 tops or whatever it is. So you go back and then you've got your limit, and we just bid up to that limit and stick to it, which is hard to do sometimes. But yeah, so we used to do a lot of that. But I also used to go to one in St Albans, which is more a general auction, and you'd get everything there, from washing machines to stacks of old board games to Hornby trains, you know, anything you can think of. And I'd buy a lot of stuff over there and do well on that as well. So they're great fun. You just have to be very aware of the fees. I know, Zaheer, you said this in one of the other videos. You really have to know what the fees are that the auction house will put on what you. The ham price is one thing, but then you're going to have to pay the auction house their fees and VAT, so it can really ramp up. So be aware of that.
Yeah, you've got hammer price, you've got VAT on the hammer price,
Yeah.
you've got the online bidding fee. They normally add on like 5% for that. So you've got to work all of that out before you bid, definitely. Tom, I know you go to the odd. Is Tom? Oh, Tom's lost. We've lost Tom.
I think we've lost Tom. His little icon has gone on my screen.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think. Okay.
Okay. Well,
It was me last time, wasn't it?
oh, he's joined. He's joined. He's back. He's back in.
Tom, you're back in the room.
Just in time.
I got kicked out for some reason.
No, just going to ask you actually. I know that you've gone.
I think the buying gods have deemed that I was not worthy or something. I'm not sure.
No, I'm just going to actually ask
Yeah,
you.
I've
You've
bought
got
things at auction
experience.
before,
Yeah.
and you've got to be really careful.
You go to antique auctions mostly, though, don't you? Or is it like kind of general auctions or just antique auctions? Oh, he's gone again.
Has he gone?
No. Oh, he's back. What are you doing?
What's going on?
Yeah, so have
I
you got
don't know
any...
what's going
before
on. I
we
think I
lose
need to
you
spend
again-
less money at the car boot.
But before we lose you again, what's your experience of...
He's gone. He's gone.
Okay,
He's back. He's back.
he's back again.
I don't know what's going on.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what. We'll move on to the next question then.
Yeah.
Okay, we've talked about the top 10 things. Can we talk about the top 10 things you can easily pick up to sell at boots? How about talking about when you first do a loop at a car boot? What things will you prioritize or be on the lookout for first, and not to waste your time first time round? I know car boots are really only good for the first hour, mainly for high profit items. So I think what he's getting at there in the messages is how do you guys approach your first few minutes at a boot fair? Because obviously we all, I know Nick and Tom, you both recommend paying the extra to get in early if you can. Boot fair.
Yeah, I think Tom's gone again. He was making strange noises and moving his iPad around.
Oh right, okay.
Yeah, I've gone closer to the Wi-Fi.
he's
Sorry,
back.
say that again.
I think you should sit on the router just to enhance. Yeah.
I'm literally right next to it as well. I think I need to spend less money at the car boot and more on the internet connection, I think.
Oh, I mean, we're just going on to the question on how do you guys spend your first moments at a boot fair? We all recommend paying the extra to get in early. That's definite. So if a boot fair offers paying extra to get early, if it looks like a busy boot fair, it's definitely worth paying to get in early. Nick's mentioned that in the past as well. But what do you guys prioritize and look for in your first rounds?
Well, it's not a simple question at all, and as you guys will know, you're at a boot sale, you will have 1,000 things in your head that you're looking for, and really you don't know what you're looking for until you find it. So to say what are you prioritizing, I suppose the only answer is your priority needs to be find as many high value items for as cheap as possible. I mean, it's simple really, but you know, I would say if you go to a stall and they've got a huge collection of CDs that you know you want to go through individually and it's going to take you an hour, I'd come back to that, obviously, because you want to go around and pick. I suppose your priority wants to be the things you know all the other dealers are looking for. So you can grab the high value things that won't stay on that table for more than 5 minutes. But yeah, I can't specify items or anything. You know, like you're opportunist at a boot sale, so you're looking for anything you can make money on.
Well, that just comes down to knowledge then, doesn't it? Is what you're saying really is that you've got to go prepared, armed with knowledge. So watch all of Nick's videos, watch all of Tom's videos, watch all of mine that are to do with reselling, and then absorb it all like Neo in the Matrix and say, I know boot sales, and then go to the boot fair. Pretty much, isn't it? It's true. I completely agree with you. It is literally, it is a difficult question because you don't know what you're going to find. If you know quality, though, that can help. What I mean by that is, even if there's something that you are not aware of, learn what quality is. What I mean by that is, know what a good pair of shoes stitching is like. Know what a good jacket looks like. Or if you're picking up an ornament, or if you're looking at china, know what good china is. Just familiarize yourself with these things. So, for example, the amount of times I've seen a really nice looking ornament and it looks nuts. It looks like it's going to weigh an absolute ton, and you go and you grab it and pick it up, and it feels like it's been made out of paper mache, and you know instantly just to put it back down because there's no craftsmanship in that. You know, what people pay for is quality. So if I know it sounds like an abstract thing, but if you can familiarize yourself with quality in different items, what a quality example of whatever it is that you're looking at is, you can't go too far wrong if you're looking at, you know, dipping your toe into something new.
I definitely agree with that. I mean, with what I do particularly with the books, I'm going against the old adage. I'm literally judging a book by its cover. Because it's the same with CDs. If I come across some CDs or computer games and I've never heard of them, then I'll look them up. But you know, I see people going through everything, looking up everything, and it's like it's almost instinctual after a while. You know, I'm picking up and looking at a book about how to breed squirrels and weird stuff like that, because I know that there's not going to be many people online selling that kind of stuff. So yeah, I think my advice with the boot sale, I mean, the ones near me you can't pay to get in early, but I know some guys who pay for a stall, put their table out, and then walk around the car boot. And then once they've been around the car boot, then they set up and sell stuff. So that's how they get in early. But there's one near us which is a bit mad, that they won't let you. They let the buyers come in. They let them all set up, and they give them an hour to set up, and then they let you in. So that's quite nice, because then there's no rooting in the cars and stuff like that. It's a fair level playing field, and they won't let the other sellers buy off each other. They'll get kicked out if anybody sells anything. So
I know,
that's quite an interesting concept, and I quite like that, because it's, you know, you get a row of people and everyone runs in like the first day of a Boxing Day sales. It's quite fun, actually.
Yeah. That one that we went to, Tom, over in Stevenage, I know a guy who goes down there, and he's a dealer. And when the cars are queuing up before they let the cars in to set up, which is about half an hour to an hour before they then open the gates, even for the early people, he used to go down the line of cars and find someone who had a spare front seat and pay him a couple of quid to go in with the sellers. So he'd get through the gates in somebody's car and then hop out and go around the stalls before all the other things are in there.
That's fantastic. Well, that actually answers a question of Get Down the Gyms, actually. He did say, do we ever go to a car boot as a fake seller just to get things before the other buyers? Well, there you have it. Some people do. I don't do that. I don't think Nick or Tom does, but...
No, I don't. Yeah. I've never gone as a fake seller.
Yeah.
Well, I do every now and again, a couple of times in the summer, I'll go and clear out old sticky stock, or have a clear out of Ellen's stuff, or whatever.
Yeah.
And what we do then is we'll drive in with the sellers, don't set up, and then have an hour going round dealers
before you set up.
And then set up my stuff and sell later on. So you get the benefits of both then.
Get Down the Gym's getting really involved in our messages, which is good. He recommends buying typewriters. He says, "Oh, where's the message?"
Off.
Pardon?
To take the keys off for
Wait, I think the message is gone. He did actually write it by typewriters, and he's taken it down now. Oh, okay, but he did. From what I can remember, he said by typewriters. They're always worth it. The older, the better. So
Well, it was,
yeah.
I don't know if it's still the case, but I know people were buying up the old typewriters with the little round keys, the real old manual ones, because
Oh right, yeah.
crafters would pay really good money. You just cut all the keys off. It seems sacrilege, really, but people were buying them just to cut all the keys off, and then you can sell those for really good money. And crafters would make earrings and rings and stuff out of them. I've never done it, but apparently that's what some people do.
Oh yeah. There's the message. Yeah, he did say that. Yeah, it actually says the rich London lot love to buy them even if they don't work. The older, the better. So your main sales demographic is down in the city. Buy old typewriters even if they don't work. What kind of pricing would you pay for an old typewriter? That's something I would like to know because I don't have a clue. What would you say?
As little as possible.
As little as possible. Pound. 50p. Yeah. So, I mean,
yeah, I was going to say I've got a question. I saw it today. It's a bit like that, a bit what Nick's just done. What's sort of the most outrageous buying tactic you've seen another buyer do? I mean, I saw someone today. The woman wanted £5 for the pair of these kids' shoes, and this woman was quite insistent on paying 50p for them. So I just wondered if you had any. And there was a massive argument, and the woman ended up getting thrown out of the car boot because she was kicking off, effing and blinding, and all this, really going wild about this. So I just wondered if you'd seen anything.
Funny you should say that. Some people literally will only hear what they want to, won't they? And I've been at numerous boot fairs where people are asking pretty reasonable amounts of money, and the seller's just going, no, I'll give you this much. And once the seller has actually said, no, I'm not accepting that, take it for example, take it for £3 or don't take it, and they'll say, no, I'll want it for £1. No, you can't have it. It's £3. No, I'll take it. It's harassment, actually. It's pretty much, that's the worst tactic I've seen at a boot fair. It's literally harassment. People will stand there and harass buyers, harass the sellers into selling it for just so I think they set out their stall to be so annoying that they will accept their lowball offer just to get rid of them from their store. I think that's the nastiest thing I've seen at a boot fair.
We were selling at a car boot sale once, and the stall next to me, this guy was getting quite harassed by a dealer who was like offering really lowball figures and then just going on and on and on. And the guy got so fed up with it. Let's say, I can't remember the numbers, but he started at a tenner for something, let's say, and the guy was saying, no, I'm only going to pay you a £5, trying to give him the £5 note and really harassing him, blah, blah, blah. And the guy said, no, I'm not taking any less than a tenner. It's early boot sale, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. This guy wouldn't give up. So the guy said, right, now it's £12.
It's gone up.
And the guy's like, no, I only want to pay you £5. He says, well, it's gone up now, it's 15 now. And he just kept on like this until the guy just walked off. And it was really funny to watch because the guy didn't know what to say to him. He said, it was 10 a minute ago. He said, yeah, well, you should have bought it then, shouldn't you? It's like, good on you, mate. Well done.
Yeah, I think it does. You do see characters at the boot fair. There's no doubt about it. It's an interesting place, and it's kind of.
We all haggle and we all try and get the best deal. I mean, I do it all the time. I mean, I tend to do it by bundling stuff together and then saying, look, will you take 20 quid on the lot or whatever it is. But if somebody is obviously offended, or you can see you've come in way too low, you say, well, don't worry about it. I'm only trying, What do you want for it? Just talk to me, You just got to be nice, and you got to be reasonable and smile, and
you can diffuse a situation. I mean, something as simple as, say, someone, just a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, someone was selling like a new sealed puzzle. They were asking. God knows, I don't know how much they're asking. They're only asking £1.50 for it, I think. And I said, oh, would you take a quid for it? Look a little cheeky, oh, would you take a quid for it? And the lady was offended. She turned around to me and said, no, it's £1.50. It's new, sealed. And I knew instantly I dropped across the line, so I just said, I always ask, just like that, I always ask, you've got to haggle at a boot fair. And suddenly she was like, Yeah, I suppose. And I was happy to pay her the £1.50 anyway because it's a new sealed puzzle. You can't go wrong. It will make me money. But it's just how you approach things. You're dealing with people face to face, and you're often dealing with people who are going to be tired. It's early in the morning. They're going to be stressed out. They're going to have You're not the only person bothering them for whatever you're bothering them for, and it's just common sense and a bit of being able to relate to someone's situation or empathize with them, and it will get you a long way, and it will mean that you'll be able to haggle and offer low prices if you want, but as long as you can soften that offer with just a smile, really.
Yeah.
As simple as that.
Yeah, it doesn't cost anything to be nice to people at the car boot sale, definitely. And even just saying after you bought something, or even if you haven't, just saying, well, I hope it goes right for you today, because you'll be amazed later down the road, people will remember you. And that kind of thing.
Well, I've found I love chatting to people anyway, and I'm genuinely interested in what people are doing and what people are selling, and I found that just passing the time of day with people, having a bit of a chat, I don't do it to get money off, but if you chat to people and spend the time and you're pleasant with them, when you then go, oh, by the way, how much do you want for this stack of CDs? They are much more open to negotiation, believe me. If you spent the time of day, ask them how it's going, just be a genuinely, happy sort of guy, which I am anyway, luckily, so it works. And then they're happy to negotiate with you. Where if you come in like a bull in a china shop and just go, I'll give you £1 for this when you put £10 on it, they're instantly going to clam up and not discuss things with you and not deal with you. So it's just, it's common sense. Just be nice to people, and then people are nice back.
There's a certain bartering tactic that you said about that sort of insistent, people will not give up unless you sell it for that price. And I remember when I used to do antique fairs, there was this one guy who came around every time, and he had an antique shop, and he'd belittle you, talk down on all of your stuff, saying, oh, the quality's not very good and all this. And then you'd say, oh, I want £20 for it, and he'd offer you 8, like really crazy lowball offers. And then after a while, when he came round, I just said, sorry, nothing for sale today. And I just wouldn't sell anything to him, because he would not leave the stall until I accepted his offer. And I was doing that. I was letting him have it just to get rid of it. But then he'd come every week.
Because he knew he had a good thing.
Yeah, I just wouldn't sell anything. I'd just be like, your money's no good to me.
Nothing for sale to you. Yeah. Just another question, guys. 52 Suffle, or it should be Shuffle, but or Suffle. So it says, hi guys, bought a Paper Jams Pro guitar from charity shop, brand new, never been opened, for £10. How much should I sell it for? I've seen one on Amazon for £129.99. What do you guys say to that question? How much should I sell it for?
Strangely, I get asked this a lot. People will message me and say, I bought X item.
How much should I sell it for?
How much will I get for it? And just do your research. I mean, if you're going to sell it on eBay, use completed listings, and then to just gauge the top end of where it's going to sell for, and then pitch it at that price. That's what I do. If that item is genuinely selling on Amazon for 120 whatever quid, and you sell on Amazon, just put it on Amazon and put it maybe a £5 or less or something. It's not rocket science, this. I mean, there's no big secrets. It's just about doing your research and then pitching your item at a price that you think you are able to get for it. It's simple as that, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, the only other thing I'd say you've got to factor in, I mean, like Nick says, there's no secret to pricing. The market's there. You just judge what other people are selling it for and be competitive. Now, if you want to get top end, you've got to be prepared to wait a bit longer. If you're selling on eBay, I'd even think about selling it for significantly less, just to build up your feedback. Feedback is important. Getting your rating up is important. So you might people aren't going to trust you as much as they would, for example, a seller with 20,000 feedback who could ask for a higher price for the same item as you've got. So you might have to consider selling it for less, but you could get the highest price if you're willing to wait for the right person. So it's a question like Nick says he gets a lot, but it's a good question nonetheless. And thanks for asking it.
Yeah,
Get down.
looking at completed listings, I've just had a quick look on my phone. It depends what model number, but between £20 and £30.
There you go.
That's just looking it up quick on your phone. But actually, it's quite good because there's not many on there at the moment, so I'd pitch it high, and then you can always mark it down.
Yeah, so yeah, exactly. Get down to the gym again, saying he went to the car boot fair, no links, but thanks for the tip, Nick. Tom, bet you're gutted you put yours in the bin. Moral of the story.
Yeah.
Always eBay check before they go in the bin.
I threw
Is that true,
loads
Tom?
away. I threw loads, and I had 2 left. One was a really nasty roll-on deodorant, which I didn't bother listing. But the other one was a bottle of aftershave, which I have listed, but it was from the early 2000s, that one, so it's not worth nearly as much. It's only worth about £10–15, which is still great for a really old bottle of aftershave. But
Yeah.
I threw some of the cans away, and they were when the fragrance Atlantis came out, which I think was '99. And they were promotional ones, the first ones, and they would have sold for all right, and I bloody threw them away. But that's not good as a borderline hoarder. That makes me not want to throw stuff away just in case.
You're going to be even worse. And you're just keeping everything, keeping it, all the packaging. And somebody said to me on that video that I posted, that had a great response actually, the Lynx Bolo one. And somebody was saying, should I keep these cans now? Should I keep all my Lynx cans? And I was like, well, yeah. I mean, if you're prepared to wait 5 years or 10 years, it will no doubt have a market. And I've thought about doing the same thing myself. But if I took on that mentality, I would be saving everything. You know what I mean? There's a market for everything if you think far enough ahead. I just, if I opened that sort of Pandora's box, it would go mental. I mean, it would be crazy. But you said about a deodorant stick, Tom. Did you see in that video the guy who had sold 2 vintage deodorant sticks that looked like he'd dug them out of a landfill? Yeah. And they were manky and they were dirty, and he got like 25 quid or something for them.
I've no idea how he got. I mean, just some of the stuff like that I see on eBay that is selling, and it's like, how just no pride of ownership. No, I'll just clean it off, clean the grime off it. No, just sell it as is.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I hope to find some more Lynx cans. I haven't found any for years. I just happened across. Well, I had the thought about the Lynx thing, and I thought it would be a perfect bolo because it's one of those things. Without that very specific knowledge, we would all have walked past Lynx cans. But now there'll be a few thousand people up and down the UK looking for Lynx cans, which I think is great.
But I talked about that to a couple of friends in the pub, and they have nothing to do with resale or anything like that, but they agreed that might be something they would want for like a man cave, just a couple of cans on the side just to look cool. And
yeah,
each to their own, but it's not for me. But if you can make money out of it, great.
It's like collecting with anything. Once you start, let's say you've got a few from this year and last year, the natural thing is to want to get the older ones, and then the older ones, and then of course the ones from the 90s are like hen's teeth now. You just can't get hold of them. So it's just, yeah, it makes sense. But when you first come across it, it just blows your mind that people are paying hundreds of pounds for these gift sets, and I think it was it £77 for one half-empty can I found that sold. It's just amazing stuff.
That is insane. Just a couple more questions, guys, on the channel we've had. Let me just get them up. Bear with me, guys. I told you I'd be keeping an eye on these. I'm doing it. There we go. Okay. Well, firstly, Seb the Bargain Hunter says, watching. Thank you very much, Seb. Thurgood 1998 asks, what do you do to your listed items when you go away on a break or on a holiday for a period of time?
Well, I've just recently done that. I've been away in France for a bit, and before, what I would do is I'd put my holiday settings on, which you can find through, I think it's account preferences. Now, I did do that before. I do that, and it comes up with a thing. But I now doing a thing which what they call people from Scavenger Life, the podcast, are doing. I still do put the holiday settings on, but I bulk edit and change my handling time to. So I was away for 2 weeks, so I changed my handling time to 15 days. And then as it progressed, I bulk edited and changed all my handling times again, because people can miss that small banner on your shop. And I had problems before when people bought stuff. But if you alter the handling time, then if someone buys something and they miss that banner, they can't kick off too much about it.
Yeah, that's a good idea, actually. Last time we went to Turkey last year, and all I did was I put my holiday notification on, so people know that I'm not back for 10 days or whatever it is. But what I was doing while I was out there, we were staying at friends, so we had access to their internet. So every night I would just message all of the buyers for the orders that are coming that day and just say, I hope you noticed that we're away. I'm not going to be posting it until I'm back next Monday or whatever, just to to preempt the problems that, Tom, you were suggesting you'd have, because people miss that. People buy stuff on their phone, they just click, click, click and buy it, and quite often they don't realise they're not going to get it for a week and a half. So I was just follow-up messaging all of my buyers while I was away, which irritated Andrea, because every night I was on the internet. But yeah, I think that worked out. So that's what I do anyway.
Brilliant. Michael Costello asks, if something sells for over £20, I send recorded to cover myself on eBay. Do you guys do the same?
Exactly the same.
Yeah. Just go on the value of the item, really. If it's under £20, if I can get away sending it large letter, just standard I do. If not, if I think it's valuable, then yeah, cover myself.
Yeah, I've had a lot of people actually asking me about being really overly worried about things going missing in the post. And I mean, I've been doing this for years and years and years, and my items lost by Royal Mail is less than 1% consistently, and it's really not worth stressing about.
No.
If you send anything over 20 quid recorded delivery, you can claim that back, and they've got to sign for it anyway, so they very, very rarely go missing. Anything under that, if you write off less than 1% of your items, you have to think about it in the big scheme of it. If less than 1% of your items go missing, just write it off. Don't worry about it. But also, if you send those items that aren't recorded, you get proof of posting. You can still claim them back. So you don't have to lose out.
Shanavine has asked, how do you think Wii games are selling lately? Well, I've not really seen as many for sale, but I've only just been to a couple of boot fairs this season. But I've not seen a great deal of them for sale, to be honest. I don't know how they're selling overall. I'm not really sure, but if you mean on eBay, they're selling just as well as ever. At the boot fair, it's hit or miss really whether you find them. I don't think it's any different to any other format or any other, whether it's Wii, whether it's the PS2, PS3. They sell pretty much like they've always sold. Just my answer to that. What do you guys think?
I think they have gone down somewhat in value. For selling point of view, but the classics, sort of a whole things like Wii Sports, that you can still get, I think, like 5 or 6 quid for that. I think even CEX does a trade-in for about 5 quid just for the Wii Sports. And any of the sort of Mario games, that they still hold the value. But nowadays, most Wii games I tend to sell in bundles. The Wii Fit, if you can get the Wii Fit with the board, that's a good consistent seller. The more niche games, I sold a Wii game. It was called Xenoblade on the Wii, and that sold for about £35 on Amazon, and it was used. So some of them potentially can be good money, but the bulk of them, the sort of more kids type ones, not so good really.
Yeah. With Wii stuff, I mean, it's all about quality. Going back to what you were talking about earlier, Zaheer, and with Wii games, I'm talking about first-party software, so it's the Nintendo stuff. So your Mario, Zelda, that sort of stuff. In-house games, they tend to be the ones that hold their value, and they will consistently sell, and they'll sell quick. So if I see a pile of Wii games, I'll just pick out the Mario titles really.
They always hold that, yeah.
Stuff.
Those are kind of like gold, aren't they? Zelda, Mario, Pokemon. Just, you know,
Any format, any age,
they will sell. Seb, the bargain hunter, has asked, what's the best profit each of you have made on a particular item? For him, it's £40. Well, I mean, for me, I think probably the best flip I've done recently was I bought an alcohol meter for about 90, and I sold that on for 260. So that was probably my best one that I've had so far. So that was from the auction. I find that, like with any business, the more risk you take, the more you invest, the greater your potential return. That's how I see it. What about you, Nick?
I don't know.
So many.
If you're talking percentages, as in how much you spent, as to what the percentage profit is, it would be a 50p CD that I sold to, I think I mentioned this in another video, I sold it to a DJ in LA, and it went for 100 and, I can't remember exactly.
That's got to be it, yeah.
So percentage profit on return wise, it would be that. But over the years, I did really well with military uniforms that I bought at auctions. They were going for hundreds, and I was paying like 30, 40, 50 each for them. So I made a killing on that. But I can't think offhand. I don't know. But yeah, that 50p CD to a DJ.
That's got to be a massive. That is a massive profit.
Because that was on auction. That was back when I used to do it on auction, and we sat watching it go, and we were like, "Holy cow!" It just kept going up and up,
higher and higher.
Yeah, that was fun. What about yourself, Tom?
It's difficult to say. The two that stand out. One was not on eBay. One I sold on eBay. One wasn't. One, both jewellery. One was a woman who was going through a divorce. Her husband, I can't remember this. It was something like her husband had slept with her best mate or some story like that, and she was selling all his stuff, basically. And I bought a 9-carat gold necklace for £1, and it weighed over an ounce, and I sold that for 480. So I think it was 480 or 460, something like that. I scrapped it because it was a bit damaged. And then the other one was a Baltic amber, butterscotch amber necklace, which I bought for £30 from a car boot, and I sold that for over 900.
That's amazing.
Wow. No, that's got to be pretty amazing.
And that went to another dealer who was based in London, and he was going to sell it to a client in the Far East.
Wow.
For probably double.
Good stuff.
Well, I mean, we've done pretty well today, guys. I think we're on an hour and a half now. We've got nine. It was 19 people watching. It's 18 now. We've got 18 thumbs up. So I'm glad that we've been entertaining enough.
Yeah. Well, I might have to go and get some food shortly. Then I had no idea how long we've been talking.
Yeah, it's an hour and 31. It says on the
Wow.
So yeah, pretty good. So it's been a lot of fun actually. I've enjoyed especially answering the comments and stuff as well, which has been nice. So yeah,
that went well. I mean, if we could do one sometime, promote it a little bit more in advance, and just say to people, I could say on my channel, get your questions ready, and we can try and answer them, and then we can have specific questions for Tom or myself or Zaheer, whatever. And yeah, we might be helpful to people then, rather than
we're super helpful
randomly,
rather than randomly helpful.
Yeah, but yeah, do you want to wrap it up now then, guys, or what?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's fair. That's fair. I've enjoyed our chat, but it's time to get some lunch. So
yeah, sounds like a plan. Right, then, well, I will click us off in a minute. Thanks for watching, everyone. I hope that was entertaining or informative. I have no idea what we talked about, really.
Loads of stuff. Some things.
Guys, and we'll speak again soon, no doubt.
Yeah, definitely. All right, thanks a lot. Cheers. Bye.